Mental Health Awareness Month 2022. Mental illness is a reality for millions of Americans. Mental Health Awareness Month, honored every May in the United States, is a national movement designed to support these individuals and shed light on the reality of mental illness. In May 2022, this movement is more important than ever. Quoted from Turnbridge.com, Turnbridge is a mental health and substance abuse treatment center in Connecticut. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Today, I want to share on the theme, there are no hopeless cases. But first, a reminder, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I invite you to do so today. Like us on Facebook and spread the word. The Possibility Action Network is committed to advancing the human condition. Now back to our share. There are no hopeless cases. Now, this may seem like a sad conversation, but it's not. But May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and to be candid with you, I had been contemplating talking about Mental Health Awareness Month for some time now, and I have been restrained. But today then, I decided that I'll come out and talk about Mental Health Awareness Month on the theme, there are no hopeless cases. Just in case you do not know, Mental Health Awareness Month was established in 1949. I didn't know this when I researched this topic. Some of you may be more advanced than me, may be aware of this. It was established by Mental Health America, and this organization promotes mental health with its partner, the National Alliance of Mental Health here in the United States. And of course, there are sister organizations throughout the world. The theme for this year's emphasis on Mental Health Awareness Month is Together for Mental Health. Now, I just want you to know that I am a former teacher and I am a writer. Now, I say that only to say that today I want to fly by the seat of my pants as I share with you on the topic of Mental Health Awareness Month here in the United States. I grew up in the small town or community of Cross in South Carolina. And as I reflect on Cross, there are at least, or let me use the past tense, were at least two individuals that I went to school with back in the day that committed suicide. The people who were around them probably were not aware that they were troubled by something. But if they got to a point where they made the decision to take their life, it meant that they were troubled and they felt hopeless in that moment. I lived in another city. I will not name the city now, but I knew one person, a person that I would have never suspected to take his life. He was a professional, had had a professional career, had been all over the world, had retired, and apparently was doing fine financially. But then he took his life. So I have crossed paths with 3 individuals that I have a mental record of who got to a place where they took their life. And there are probably many more individuals that I don't know about, that I crossed paths with, that I sat in classrooms with, that I attended conventions with, that got to a point where they took their life, that they felt a moment of hopelessness. Now, I am here to say that there are no hopeless cases. I heard or actually read this in a book written by Dr. Abraham Lowe. Dr. Lowe was a psychiatrist in the United States before 1955. He passed away in the mid-1950s. He was a pioneer in the self-help movement, especially concerning mental illness or emotional illness. And Dr. Lowe wrote in one of his books, "There are no hopeless cases." I came upon Dr. Lowe's writings over 20 years ago, over 30 years ago, about 30 or 35 years ago. And I remembered him saying in words, "There are no hopeless cases." Now, he admitted that there are helpless cases, and there are some, just think about it, there are some situations that are helpless. For example, if a person lives this life of ours and thinks that everyone in the world is going to love them, everyone in their family is going to love them, everyone in the workplace is going to love them, that's hopeless. There's no way on planet Earth that you will get everyone to love you. That's just the way it is in this dimension. That's hopeless. If you believe that on planet Earth that everyone you encounter is going to support you in your endeavors, that's hopeless. Because that's not going to happen. If you believe that on planet Earth, everyone that you encounter is going to be supportive as you go through whatever you go through, that's not going to happen. That's hopeless on planet Earth. But I still have good news for you. No matter where you are, no matter what your situation is, no matter what you have experienced in this life, there is someone in your environment right now who will support you. Actually, it's a little stronger than that. That there's someone that's in your environment right now who will love you. No matter what you have gone through and no matter what you are going through, someone is going to love you, baby. If you're listening to this video recording, no matter if you're watching me live or you listen to this at some other point and we have never crossed paths, I want to tell you something, and I mean this. I support you. And I love you as a human being. Because as a human being, you are what I am. We are all one. Now, this is not some woo-woo metaphysical statement. There are certain factual things that are true about a human being, and in fact, that's true about all life forms. I know, we wake up in the morning as I did. I cleaned myself up. I shaved. I put on this shirt before coming to make this video. I ate breakfast. I drank water. There's certain things that I do as a human being. And I can look at this character in the mirror and conclude, this is all I am. This is me. This is who I am. And this is all that there is to me. Well, actually, that's a good thought, but the questioning, is that really true? If you think about yourself as being this solid, being this separate individual, being this person with a past and with a history, being this person who will have a future, if you think of yourself from that perspective, suffering has to happen. Because this conditioned person, the person who says, I am me, this is who I am, this is my life, this has been my experiences, will go through certain things in this life. That's just the way of it. There was a philosopher back in the day, he was born in the 1930s, lived until 2009. His name is Sydney, what's his last name? Sydney Banks. And he refers to life as the game of life. That is the game. It's the game of life. And if you think that what you are is the sum total of your history, the sum total of your experiences, then you've simply gotten trapped into the game of life. The life that talks about me, I, this little one, this is who I am. And in that place, suffering has to come. In fact, people may not admit this to you, but I'm going to tell you, it's not up to me whether you believe me or not, but everyone in this life suffers something. It's not possible to be a human being and to go through this life without suffering something. Now, we are simply suffering our thinking about things that happen in life. You can't suffer life, but you can suffer your thinking about it. You can walk out of your house or apartment or school, and it's a rainy day, it's really raining, you're getting wet as you go to your car or your bus, and you can suffer that experience. Now, how do you suffer such an experience like that? To think that that experience, that is the rain, the thunder, should not exist. If you think that it should not exist, that's a recipe for suffering. Now, follow me here. What is suffering? Suffering is to deny what is its existence. It exists, but I don't want it to exist. It exists, but I don't want it to be. It exists, but it should not be here. That's suffering. But let's pause for a moment and see if we can find a place where there can be no suffering. Now, I'm not saying that situations are going to change. I'm not saying that the rain will stop. But I'm saying, is there a place in the human being where there is no suffering? And I want to invite you to go there with me for just a moment. Let's see if we can locate it and see what we can make of this. I'm sitting in this chair. I know that there is a body here. Whether the body is real or not is inconsequential. I don't want to get into, some metaphysical conversation about the body vibrating at a certain level. But as I sit here, I know that there are a ton of functions that are happening. Breathing, seeing, hearing, feeling, sensing. All kinds of things are happening now. And I have zero responsibility in whether they happen or not. So what is this place? Where is this place? Is it inside the body? Is it outside the body? I don't know. I'm not that wise. But I know that there is some presence that's always about me. Some presence that's always about you, that never sleeps, that never dies, that's never far away. It's just there. It's just there. Find that place. Find that place where you know that you are safe now. Locate it with me now. What's breathing you? What's breathing me? Let's locate it now. Have you found it? Have you found that place that wakes you up in the morning, that wakes you up during the night and tells you to go to the laboratory because you have a biofunction that needs to take place? Can you find it which, digests your food? Can you find it? Can you think of that moment when you're listening to a song, or you're outside looking at the sun, or you're looking at the green of the leaves, or in the fall, the turning of the leaves, or the snow on the ground? You don't make it. I don't make it. Can you find that presence that makes these things possible? And the degree to which I can locate it, I know that I am safe. I know that I'm secure. I know that no matter what storms come, and storms are going to come, because as Cindy Banks said, there's a game of life. There's a game of life. And there's a game, actually, that people play in life. I think it was Della Reese that wrote the song back in the day, The Games People Play. Let's find that place, because in that place, we'll discover peace. There's a possibility of peace. And the peace that I am seeking, the peace that you are seeking, is seeking you and is seeking me. Now let's bring this back to earth, and then I'm going to close. What are some of the things that people suffer? Well, some people may have a diagnosis right now. And if you have just been to the doctor and you got a diagnosis and you're frightened and you're suffering right now, I want you to know that my heart goes out to you. But I want to say to you also that just because you've gotten a diagnosis doesn't mean that it's the end of you now. I read in my sacred book that all sickness is not unto death. So a diagnosis comes, it does not mean that it's the end of you. It may mean that you may be set on a journey, that you may be set on a path so that you can find that solution that's right for you, that would bring your body back into homeostasis. That's what it could mean. What else do people suffer? You're working on a job. Your co-workers turn against you. Your co-workers give false reports to your supervisor. Your supervisor takes action against you. And all of a sudden you're out of, you just feel so distraught that you walk away from your job and you're suffering that experience. That's not a hopeless case. It just may mean that the universe has made a turn. And in that moment, it's time for you to find something else to do with your life. Or it could be that the people who you worked around were the wrong people, that you were around toxic individuals, and you simply do not deserve, you deserve more than being in that environment. Oh, I think I'm talking about myself. I've been in that situation personally. Well, anyway, what do people suffer? People suffer losses. We all suffer losses. In my case, I'll be candid with you. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I live with muscular dystrophy, actually. I live with, I'll repeat it, muscular dystrophy. Hey, but I'm 68 years of old. I think I'm battling pretty good. I can still do the Hulk movement. I can still do a lot of other things. And I think, if need be, I can throw a right hook as I used to do in the day. I may not be able to run the pill as I did as a kid when I was so fast that the other kids called me Billy the Kid. the gunfighter we saw on television. You know, I can suffer muscular dystrophy. I really can. You know, it's inconvenient with muscular dystrophy. There are a lot of, sometimes I have difficulties putting on a shirt or putting on a pullover shirt. I mean, I got to go through certain movements to get those things done. I have to do certain things to get out of a chair. I have to have a van to transport my power chair. I haven't talked about this before, but it's true. So there are certain things that I got to do. But guess what? I don't live in the suffering of muscular dystrophy. I live in the hope that I can beat it even at the age of 68. That's true. I live in the hope. I dwell in the hope of beating it. I'm inviting you. If you know someone who is suffering now, here's what we tend to do. We avoid them. We don't talk to them. We don't support them. We act as if we don't care about them. We get lost in our own fears about them. Now, I'm not judging you. I'm not blaming you. I'm not accusing you. But this is what generally happens. I remember I went to a church once and I had my walk with me and I'm doing my thing and some of the people at the front of the church wouldn't even look my way. They wanted to pretend that they didn't see this guy who can't walk without assistance. I'm not sure if they felt sorry for me or sad for me. I just don't know. But you can't judge the book by its cover. You just can't. Because if you judge the book by its cover, you're probably wrong. You're probably wrong. There are many things that human beings can suffer. But here is what I'm saying to you. I don't care if you're 16 or 96. Because 16-year-olds suffer too. Wait, I don't care if you're 12 or 112. Because 12-year-olds suffer too. Hey, we can't abandon our young people. We just can't because they suffer. And here is the one thing I want to leave with you today. There are no hopeless cases. Isn't this good news? There are no hopeless cases. I don't care what anyone says. I'm telling you, there are no hopeless cases. And you know it too, because even in the midst of your sorrows, even in the midst of your pain, there are moments in your life experience that you see a glimpse of hope, that you feel elated, that you feel happy, that you get around the right people and you feel oneness with them. I know that happens to you, and that happens in the experience of every human being on the planet. Your financial situation isn't hopeless either. I'm going to tell you that now. If you live in the Western world, if you live in America, there are opportunities all over the place. This is one of the reasons I founded the Possibility Action Network. I know that you can make money. I know that you can make money honestly. I know that you can make money in a way that helps another individual. I know that you can do things for your body that will reverse chronic diseases. I know it. I'm not guessing anymore. At one point, I did not know, but I know it. And I'm here to declare to you that there are no hopeless cases. No hopeless cases. All I want to know is whether you want to. Do you want to? That's a good step. Oh, I want to. I don't know how to, but I want to. That's all you need. I want to. One last story, and I'll let you go if you made it this far. I grew up in Cross, South Carolina, which is a rural town. I was born in 1954, so you do the math, I'm 68 years of age. In the 1960s, I can vividly remember in my first experience being at the edge of a cotton field. My mother placed me on a sheet as she went out in the field picking cotton. I picked my share of cotton. In fact, I was the kid who could pick over 100 pounds of cotton before he was 15 years of age. I was so proficient, I could pick cotton with 2 hands. Woo! I could pick that cotton, this little kid. I was that kid who began to plow with a mule. I could disc the row of the cotton field. I could clear the grass from the middle of 2 cotton rows. I was the guy who was able to do that. As I got older, I worked in a lumber yard. I used the big edger. I shaved the bark of pine trees that were converted into plywood and other kinds of boards. I did that actually at 2 lumber yards. I went into the woods and cut wood. I did those things. I grew up in an environment where standard English was not the thing, at least not in my household. We're talking about no hopeless cases. There are no hopeless cases. As a boy in South Carolina growing up, we were so poor, my goodness, we didn't have window panes in my bedroom. And there were many who looked at us and said, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. I went to school once and had a quarter in my pocket. We were so poor, my teacher accused me of stealing that quarter because we were so poor, I shouldn't even have a quarter in my pocket. In her mind, it's hopeless. I loved my mother and my father, but if my mother were alive, she would tell you, I can't speak a stick of standard English. No newspapers, no magazines, no nothing in the house. I told someone early on, hey, I want to become a lawyer when I grew up. They looked at me and said, well, no one is going to go to you as a lawyer. There are no hopeless cases. In that person's mind, my situation was hopeless. But guess what? I graduated high school. I dropped out for a while. My 2 brothers had dropped out. I dropped out for a while. But pushing that dirt wheelbarrow full of bricks, I went back to school. I graduated high school. I went to college and I had a conversation with myself. I said, look here. Look here. You're not smart. You don't have a good upbringing. You didn't learn standard English at home. You got to study hard. You got to do your best to try to get out of this place. I'm not bragging a little bit. I feel like Paul the Apostle when he spoke with the King Agrippa, when Paul looked into his pedigree. I graduated college cum laude. Not the highest honor, but honors. Got a fellowship at Ohio State University where I completed a bachelor's degree. Went on to a doctoral program at Miami University in Ohio where I finished a PhD, a doctoral philosophy degree in constitutional history. Went on to New York University School of Law where I took the first-year curriculum in law to strengthen my knowledge of the law as a legal historian. Wrote and edited over 5 books, wrote articles. I'm writing a book now about Judge Robert Heberton Terrell. Why? Because there are no hopeless cases. That's my point. I've experienced anxiety. I've experienced depression. I've experienced rejection. I've experienced people who didn't have confidence in me. But yet, here I stand, making a bold declaration to you. If you need support, reach out to me. If you want additional resources, reach out to me. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Until next time, good day